Okay, so for this one, we're adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing in scientific notation. The only difference is in these they give you word problems, and you need to know what different sum, product, and quotient means. Okay. All right. So what is the difference between 8.2 times 10 to the fifth and 25? So difference, okay, you need to know means subtract. Okay, so it's saying find 8.2 times 10 to the fifth minus 25. Okay, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and change this 25 to scientific notation. Okay, and then I'm going to use the rules of scientific notation and subtract these two numbers. All right, so 25, well, I need the decimal, okay, between the 2 and the 5. So this is 2.5 times 10. And realize that I made the 25, I made it smaller when I turned it into a 2.5, okay? So that means I have to make my exponent go up by 1, okay? So 2.5 times 10 to the 1, okay? Or I moved it one decimal place, so I have to make the exponent 1, okay? So I'm subtracting these two things here. So I'm subtracting 8.2 times 10 to the fifth minus 2.5 times 10 to the 1. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead now, and for addition and subtraction, we need the exponents to be the same. Okay? So we're going to make we're going to turn the smaller exponent and turn it into the bigger exponent. Okay? So this 2.5 times 10 to the 1, I'm going to go ahead and make it a 10 to the fifth. Okay? So I made this exponent bigger. So I need to make this exponent smaller. Okay? So I need to make it smaller by 4 decimal places because I went from a 1 to a 5, right? 1 got bigger by 4. So this has to get smaller by 4 decimal places. So let me go ahead and put the 2.5 down. And I'm going to move the decimal over 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what I have here is these zeros go into those slots. And I'm going to have decimal and then 3 zeros and a 2, 5. Okay, so I have a decimal, 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 2, 5. Times 10 to the fifth. Okay, this 8.2 I'm just going to bring down. 8.2 times 10 to the fifth minus that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and subtract this. 8.2 minus 0.00025. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to say go ahead and just use the calculator for this. 8.2 minus 0.0025. Okay, so 8.1975. Okay, so 8.2 minus this really small number gives me an 8.1975. And then I'm going to go ahead and just keep that exponent, that 10 to the fifth exponent, okay? And notice this number is already in scientific notation. That base is already between 1 and 10, okay? All right, you need to show me these steps as you guys are going and doing this, okay? That step with the subtraction, feel free to use the calculator. I need to see the steps in between. All right, let's go ahead and do number 2. Sum means addition. Okay, so I am going to add 0.0072 and 9 times 10 to the negative 4. All right, so let's deal with this 0.0072. I need to make this a 7.2, okay, and turn it into scientific notation. Okay, so I have a 7.2 times 10. And looks like I had to move the decimal past the 0, past this 0, and past the 7. So 3 spaces. Okay, so it's 3. And this number, right, is less than 1. So it's going to be a negative 3. 7.2 times 10 to the negative 3. Okay. All right, and I am adding that to 9 times 10 to the negative 4. Okay. All right, so I have it set up. Now, again, addition and subtraction, you need same exponent. Right? So I'm going to go to the smaller exponent and turn it into the bigger exponent. So the smaller exponent here is negative 4. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and change this negative 4. I'm going to change it to a negative 3. I made the exponent bigger, so I need to make this base smaller. So right now it's a 9.0. Okay? So I'm going to make the base smaller by moving it to the left. Okay? So it's going to be 0.9. 0.9 times 10 to the negative 3. Okay? Now let's go ahead and bring this down, this 7.2 times 10 to the negative 3, and I am adding this. Okay? So this is a 7.2 plus a 0.9. Let's go ahead and add it on the side here real quick. 7.2 plus 0.9. Okay, so that gives me 2 plus 9 is 11, carry the 1, and I have an 8.1. Okay, so what I have then is 8.1 times 10 to the negative 3. Okay, 8.1, again, already in scientific notation. Okay, let's take a look at number 3. This time, number 3, it's asking for the product, which means times. Okay, so we're going to multiply. All right, so let's go ahead and change this 600 here into scientific notation. Okay, so the 600, I want to turn it into a 6. And it looks like I had to move the decimal 2 spaces past the 2 zeros. Okay, so it'll be 6 times 10 to the second power. 600 is bigger than 1. So that means that 2 exponent is positive. So 6 times 10 squared. And I'm multiplying that by 1.4 times 10 to the 5th. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and multiply 6 and 1.4. I'm just going to do it real quick here. 1.4 times 6. Okay. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 2 is 8. And it looks like I just have this 4 here. 1.4. I moved the decimal over once. Or one number that's to the right of a decimal. So I need to move the decimal over to the left one time here. So this is 8.4. 6 times 1.4 is 8.4. Okay, you can use a calculator for that step right there if you want. All right, so you have 8.4 times 10, and then you have a 2 plus 5. For multiplication, you don't need the same exponent, right? You just multiply the coefficient. We got an 8.4, and you add the exponent. So this is times 10 to the 7th, and that number is already in scientific notation. 8.4 is between 1 and 10, so we're done there. All right, last one I'll do with you. Quotient for number 4. Quotient means divide. Okay. All right, so it looks like again here I need to change this 20,000. Okay, 20,000. I need to change it to a scientific notation, a number in scientific notation. So I'm going to change it to a 2. And I'm going to have it times 10. It looks like from the end, moving it between the 2 and the 0, I moved it past 4 numbers, right? Those 4 zeros. So this is times 10 to the 4th. Okay, so there it is in scientific notation. So the order matters here when you divide, right? This is your numerator, this is your denominator, right? 8.4 times 10 squared divided by 2 times 10 to the 4th. So let me go ahead and set that up here. 8.4 times 10 squared divided by 2 times 10 to the 4th. Okay, 8.4 divided by 2, hopefully you can see that's 4.2, right? But this step you can use a calculator here. 8.4 divided by 2, put 8.1 1. 8.4 divided by 2, and they get 4.2. Okay, so I get a 4.2. And when we divide, we subtract exponents. Okay, so 2 minus 4 is a negative 2. So this would be times 10 to the negative 2. Okay, so in these first four examples, once we got our number, once we got our coefficient, they were always between 1 and 10. Okay, so we didn't have to adjust the exponent on any of these. If you get your coefficient and it's not between 1 and 10, then you'll have to adjust your exponent. Okay?